Oh, there we go. Okay. Cool. So, zero mission, 100%. As the name implies, we have to get every item, except for one, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Nick has a PB of 113.14, and Toby has a 112.02. So this is actually probably going to be a pretty close race. First thing we want to do is grab the morph ball and head on to the right. Toby looks like he's frozen already, which is unfortunate. But luckily Nick is still here. So the first big part of the run is the climb coming up in the next room. There's a ripper that's always on the same cycle, and if you jump up the platforms fast enough, you'll be able to jump over it and avoid it. So let's see if Nick gets that. Almost got it. You have to be very fast going up those platforms. Like, you have to jump as soon as you land, basically. But other than that, I just got to make our way up here. Normally we grab the long beam first. That's kind of the intended way to go, but we skipped that because it's slow. As a rule of thumb, every time you see one of the runners skip an item, that's because it's faster to grab it later. So now we're going to grab missiles, and coming up is the first mini-boss, the cave worm, I think it's called, or cave beast. I call it the cave worm. Nick falling into acid is unfortunate, and getting hit by the fly is doubly unfortunate. But the aim here is just to shoot the worm in the eye 3 times. Destructor is saying Toby's stream is down. That's bad. I don't know if that'll call for a reset on the run, or... Oh, he's not even in the room now. The SRC room, or the SRL room. I don't know what's gonna happen with that. That's not good. Well, we'll see what happens, but in the meantime, we can watch Nick. So coming up is Hive Room, and this is a common reset point for a lot of people because you have to be very particular about how you manipulate the bugs in this room. Nick having a little bit of trouble there killing the Hive. It's 2 beams and 3 missiles to kill each Hive. Nick getting a bit of a strange pattern, so he goes to adjust. It's a good adaptation. This should be fine. Yep. Gets through that. Pretty much no problem. I'll let you guys know if I get any word on what's going on with Toby. So the next big upgrade we're getting is bombs. It's extremely useful ability. Lets us infinite bomb jump, which basically is just, as the name implies, jump infinitely with bombs if you time it a certain way. Also, keep an eye on Nick's missile count. He wants to have maybe like 8 missiles around here, but he only has 3, so he might have to heal here. Yep, he's going to. You want to have a decent amount of missiles going into Kraid, which is the next area in the run. And if you don't have enough in a race setting, it's a pretty good idea to heal there. So now we're going to kill these bugs. Sometimes the bugs can be jerks and give you a bad pattern. That actually was a very good pattern. Oh, no, it wasn't. Oh my god, that was actually an extremely troll pattern. That was like 3 layers of not knowing if it was good. That was interesting. Interesting luck for Nick. So now we just have a couple more items to pick up in Brinstar before we head back down to Kraid. Still not seeing anything about Toby's situation. There's not a whole lot else to say about this section of Brinstar. Except for the fact that in Zero Mission 100%, there are many different routes you can take throughout the run that ultimately save roughly the same amount of time. One of the different routes you can do in Brinstar is cleaning up the top area of it. We call that Upper Brinstar Cleanup, or Early Brinstar Cleanup. It's pretty risky to go for. Not so much risky, it's just kind of... Well, it is risky in that if you mess up your execution, it costs a lot of time, because you need to get a few pretty difficult bomb jumps in order to do that. The advantage to cleaning up Early Brinstar is that you will have an extra E-tank for Norfair, which isn't happening for a while, but it's just for comfort, and it saves, like I said, probably like roughly the same amount of time as late Brinstar cleanup would. So now entering Kraid. Normally, when we enter Kraid casually, you would have Ice Beam and Power Grip, most notably. And since we don't have either of those things, certain parts of Kraid are going to be a little bit more difficult than they would normally. Oh, Toby's back. Hey, Toby. Oh, Toby's doing Early Brinstar, but we missed pretty much all of it, so that kind of sucks. Unfortunate that you didn't really get to see the cooler parts of that route, but that's okay. So I won't really be able to tell, and you guys won't really be able to tell who is in the lead until we get to Torian, to be honest. Well, we'll have maybe a good idea, but we won't have an accurate idea until around Torian. So the first example of things getting a little weird is doing this diagonal bomb jump here, because if we had Power Grip, we could just grab that ledge. Nick having a little trouble there. The easiest way to do that is just to kill the bug, hope it drops something, and then don't pick up the drop. And just do the diagonal there. Oh, Nick missing the bomb. Nice recovery. Good stuff to Nick. If he had fallen there, he would have had to use the ball launcher to shoot him all the way back up. Would have lost a few seconds. So coming up is Acid Worm, and that's the reason why we want to have a good amount of missiles going into Kraid, because Acid Worm requires, I think, 30 missiles to kill. And Nick has 38, which I have no problem with having missiles to spare. But we want to keep an eye on his missile count once Acid Worm is dead. And this fight just consists of dropping into the lava and shooting missiles at it. Nothing really too difficult. Nick getting good enough drops. We want to have 20 missiles for something coming up. So we're going to grab this missile tank, and then we're going to grab another one. And that will be enough. Because missile tanks give 5 missiles each. I'm just going to zipline through this room. In any percent, we actually just skip Acid Worm altogether. Because there's nothing important near Acid Worm. There's no like major upgrades or anything near Acid Worm. So in pretty much every other category except for 100%, I think, maybe, we skip Acid Worm. But since this is 100% and there's items, well, obviously we have to go do that. And one of the consequences of skipping Acid Worm is that the zip lines are not activated. But we don't have to worry about that. Oh, 9% does not skip it. That is true. Thank you. I thought I was missing something. Here's another diagonal bomb jump. That's the last one we have to do here. Which, again, would be easier if we had Power Grip, which we don't. Toby heading to Acid Worm now. Nick using his 20 missiles that he needed on these giant side hoppers because they take 10 missiles each to die. Alright, Toby about to finish off Acid Worm. Let's see what kind of drops he gets. Oof. Oh, okay, that's perfect, actually. That's enough. That should be enough. And normally, even if you're a couple missiles short, you can either get missile drops from the flies on the way to the side hopper room, or the side hoppers themselves will drop extra missiles. So even if you don't have exactly 20 missiles, it's usually not that big a deal. Nick is now in the most boring room of the game, as we call it. We just have to kill these walls. Oh, doing the JBJ there, very slick. Saves a couple seconds. A JBJ is a jump bomb jump, so we jump, lay a bomb, and then morph again. And bomb jump. Nick having super clean movement through this room. That's a lot harder than it looks. Try to go for refill glitch. Refill glitch is just refilling and grabbing the item at the same time. Excuse me. But it's not a super important trick, so. So now Nick is going to be heading to the Kraid fight, while Toby will be heading towards the side hopper room. And you can kill these small side hoppers by shooting your missiles at them towards the ground. There's some interesting mechanics with the missiles and with the beam. Basically, while you're running, Toby having some trouble with the JBJ there. Actually, I'll explain that after the Kraid fight. Because Kraid fight is interesting. We want to kill him in 2 cycles, roughly, and it's very difficult to do. We have to mash our missiles correctly, which will lead me into another topic that I'll talk about in a second. But let's see how this goes. Oh, does not get the 2 cycle, unfortunately, but 1 more missile, 2 more missiles. Oh, that's very unfortunate for Nick. This is going to lose him a lot of time. Okay. Yeah, ideally you will stay on the platform the whole time and shoot missiles in his mouth until he dies. Pretty rough fight for Nick, unfortunately. So as I was saying about missile mechanics, so basically, as you're running, or missiles and beams, as you're running and you shoot diagonally, the way the trajectory of your missiles or your beams sort of curves a little bit, so they kind of curve in front of you. So in that side hopper room leading up to Kraid, you kind of have to shoot your missiles a little early if you want to hit the side hoppers without getting hit yourself. And if you ever see someone like trade hits with the side hopper before in that room, that's why, because they're not shooting their missiles early enough. Or at the proper time, I should say. And also, the thing with Kraid that's you wouldn't really be able to glean from watching is that there's a certain rhythm you need when you're mashing missiles. If you're just blindly mashing the B button, you won't really be able to shoot missiles as fast as possible. They have a bit of a rhythm to it, so knowing that rhythm is extremely important for not only Kraid, but for other areas of the game. It's hard to say who's ahead right now, but I believe with that Kraid fight, I would say that Toby probably will have the lead at the moment. But I could be wrong. That all depends on how this fight goes for him, so let's check it out. This is looking good. Yep, that was extremely clean. Good stuff. Oh, so Speed Booster. I didn't even talk about Speed Booster. Speed Booster is by far the most versatile upgrade in this game. You'll see Toby use it in a second. You have to run for a certain amount of time, and then once you do, you start going really fast and you break speed blocks. And then you can crouch to store the Speed Booster, and that's called a Shine Spark. And you can use it to then redirect it up or diagonally or to the sides. We'll be using that quite a bit to do some cool tricks and some required tricks. One of the cool tricks coming up is Charge Spark, which Nick is about to go for. It's one of the reasons why we grabbed Charge Beam early, so let's see if he gets it. It's a very tight window to store the Shine Spark. And he gets it, good stuff. It doesn't save a ton of time, but it's worth going for. it's the kind of speed booster trick that doesn't necessarily lose time if you miss it. There are certain ones where you have to. There are certain speed booster tricks that are extremely punishing for the simple fact that if you mess it up, you have to go and completely set it up from the beginning. But Charge Spark is one of those tricks that if you mess it up, you mess it up, and it's not a huge deal. So now Nick is heading up to Criteria to grab the Power Grip and Super Missiles. We need Power Grip now because we can't actually progress in Orfair any further until we do. There's a vine blocking the way until we grab Power Grip. And as for these unknown items that the runners are getting, you'll understand what those are for later. But we can't do them. We can't do anything with them right now. We just need to get them. And collecting them makes those blocks breakable. So Nick is going to go for a cool Shine Spark here, a required one. Yes, no spoilers. So he's going to spark to the left, and then when you Shine Spark into a slope, it actually gives you your speed booster back, which you can then use to store another Shine Spark. So that's an example of that. So now we have Super Missiles. This is extremely important to have now so we can clean up Norfair as efficiently as possible. We still will have to return to Norfair later in the game, but this ensures that we get as much as we can in the first trip. So Nick going for Infinite Bomb Jump here. One of the only ones we really do. Does not get it. It's pretty difficult to get. Loses a few seconds if you don't get it. So Nick is going to be heading back into Norfair, while Toby goes to get Power Grip. Toby going for a slightly different setup for that Shine Spark there. Works out. Oh, interesting way to get up to that ledge from Nick. That might be faster. I don't know, though. But that looks like it could have been faster. That was cool. Oh, and Nick doing New Fair. By the looks of it. Chat, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong about New Fair. For some reason, I just cannot get it in my head what New Fair is supposed to be. But skipping the Ice Beam right now implies to me that this is New Fair. New Fair is another route variation of cleaning up Norfair. Normally we would grab the Ice Beam when we get here. And then we go down here, but Nick decided to go straight down to here, to this area of Norfair. Yeah, this is going to make keeping track of who's in the lead. Oh, Nick going for the Shine Break and missing it. That is very unfortunate. A Shine Break is when you break a speed block, but you're still able to store another Shine Spark. He was probably going to go for this spark in this room, which barely saves any time. I'm kind of surprised he went for that, to be honest. So coming up to some heated rooms. If you have Various Suit, you don't take any damage from the heat. But since we don't have Variasuit, and spoilers, we don't grab Variasuit outright, we have to deal with this. That was very close. He like just barely avoided the Nova there. But yes, we don't grab Variasuit at all because the game will give it to you later. And we don't really need to grab it because we don't really need to resist heat. It doesn't really do anything for us as speedrunners to do that. Toby taking a dip into the lava there. He's doing normal Norfair or Normfair or whatever, whatever you want to call it. So you guys will. Oh, Nick going for Money Spark. He's not going to get it though. Yeah. Whenever you store a Shine Spark, you have 3 seconds to activate it again. So there are certain Shine Sparks that have very tight windows. As a result, Money Spark is one of them. But that's a Shine Spark trick that doesn't really lose much time if you miss it. Would have been cool if you got it though. So the extra E-Tank that Toby got in early Brinstar cleanup is coming in use now for these heated rooms. That's one of the main advantages to grabbing it, to doing early Brinstar. That missile tank that Toby just grabbed, if you miss that, that costs a lot of time. So it's important that he gets that first try. Oh, Toby gets a shine break. Looks like he's going to get the spark through there. Very nice. That really does not save that much time, though. Like, I cannot stress that enough. Like, it saves time, for sure. Looks cool. But not incredibly important to do. Oh, Nick getting 3 cycle on whatever that thing's name is. Don't see that too often. Nick is worrying me with this. Okay. Oh, Nick. Oh, wait, no, never mind. He's supposed to do this. I'm sorry. I'm getting the Norfair routes confused. He's supposed to spark up there. Apologies. Wait, why is he going to this heated room right now? Interesting. I don't know if that's normally what you do in New Fair. I have surprisingly little knowledge of New Fair, so... Interesting. Oh yeah, Nick kind of... So, this is really weird. So normally in New Fair, there's a certain missile tank you pick up that's next to high jump, which saves you from having to do it in cleanup, which saves I think like 7 seconds or something. And he didn't grab that. I'm a little bit confused. I'm slightly confused about that. Oh, okay, yeah, you're supposed to take the... I apologize. My, like I said, my knowledge of New Fair is minimal. But yes, you take this really shortcut. Let's get back down. Oh, Nick, don't grab the ledge there. So what's he gonna do? He's gonna grab this. I don't know if he's gonna grab the missile tank outside high jump. He might save that for later. Yeah, it looks like he's going to. That is pretty bad. That's pretty bad. I don't know how that's going to shake out for him. I am interested to see how this goes. Nick doing the newer strat for this fight. I think it's newer. A bit easier too, I would say. Execution-wise. That was an alright fight. Meanwhile, Toby heading towards Kiroguro. Thank you, Sparker Z, for telling me what the name of that enemy is. I would not have known that. So Nick is going to head straight back up this elevator, because we're going to fight Imago, another mini-boss. Toby? Okay. Interesting Kiroguro from both of these players. I'm just going to mute my phone, sorry if you heard that. So ideally we're going to kill Imago in one cycle. This is another example of needing to know your mashing. Okay. Looks good. So now Nick is going to go for a cool spark called, we call Imago Spark. It's pretty tough to get. Let's see if he gets it. Oh, okay. That should be good. Okay, very good. It's not my mom destructor, thank you very much. So we want to try and grab as many supers here as we can for the Ridley fight. Coming up on Nick's screen is Ice Clip. We have to kill that orb, and then once we do that, we can freeze these two flies on top of each other like that. And then, oh, he... What? Okay. I don't know why that didn't work. Well, anyways. These puzzle rooms are very punishing if you miss them, because you have to set up a whole other Shine Spark to get back into them, and it's hard. So we want to do this first try, if it wasn't apparent. Yeah, believe it or not, it's Ross is messaging me. He's very angry that I've been impersonating him. Very upset with me. Anyway, Toby getting a good fight. Nick can do Shine Spark across this room. Toby also getting a Imago Spark. Good stuff to them. That's an interesting... Huh. That was an interesting way of killing the owl. Normally you shoot a super at it and hope that drops another super, but it actually saves you a super if you just run up to and shoot missiles. I don't know if... At that point, I'm not even sure if Imago Spark is faster, but I don't know. This puzzle room is a little tricky. Gotta get your movement pretty accurate. Oh, oh, Nick, no, he had it. That was so weird. That was very strange. It looked like he had that, and then he just didn't. Very unfortunate from Nick. Toby's almost caught up to him, and they're taking different routes, which I think that says that Toby has a pretty firm lead at the moment. So Nick is about to do speed jump. It is a 4-frame jump. There is no other way to do it. You have to jump in a certain 4-frame window, or else it'll fail. Gets it first try. Easy. Every single time. It is not easy every single time. It is a lie. Now Nick has passed all the hard stuff, pretty much. There's one last kind of scary room coming up, but Nick is competent enough that he won't mess it up. So your Toby is good. Gets that first try. Oh, Toby. Oh, and Nick falls in Pillar Room. Oh, there's so much happening right now. Oh, there's so much. Oh. Super unfortunate stuff to both of these guys. Very unfortunate. Toby still gets speed jump first try, but doesn't really matter. He still lost time for that. Nick in the last puzzle room of Ridley. Unlike pretty much every other area in the game, we actually clean up Ridley in one go on our first trip. So when these guys leave Ridley, we will never come back. So now Nick is on his way to fight Ridley. Oh, fast eye door. That was cool. I appreciated that. Nick picking up the last unknown item. And now we're going to fight Ridley. Nick has pretty bad supers. This is going to be a slowish Ridley fight. Ideally, you would have like 8 or so supers coming into this fight. So Nick loses like maybe 3 seconds or something, if even that. It's still time lost regardless. Let's see how many super drops Nick gets. 2? Alright, that's fine. You want as many super drops from Ridley as possible. Should I shut up for... Oh, wait, no. Sorry, I talked over Ridley's beautiful singing voice. I apologize, chat. I apologize. Nick farming Speedway, the correct strat. Good stuff to Nick. Let's see how Toby's fight goes now. Too bad we can't hear it. And it's over. That was pretty good. I could switch audio? Is that true? Oh, I can do that. Wow. So you learn something new every day. I never knew that. Okay. Well... Wow, that's completely new to me. I can't believe I didn't know that. I will have that open. And I will use it if necessary. Anyways. Yeah, I would say that Nick is behind. So I will switch audio once we get to Torian. Okay, sorry, did not look at the screen for a second. Just to open up that other tab. That's mind-blowing, I didn't know I could do that. Anyways, wow, Toby, okay. Toby did not have any supers. But now he does, so it's cool. Nick about to go to get Brinstar super. There was also... Nick also did New Fair. Which I don't even know at this point if that made a difference or not, since they didn't grab that one missile tank outside high jump. So I don't know if there's even more route variation. I don't know. So now Nick is gonna go clean up Upper Brinstar, which is what Toby did at the beginning of the run, but we didn't see it because the stream was down. So you'll get to see what that's like now. Well, a slightly different version of how that works. And by slightly, I mean significantly. There should be sound. Heavy arms, just refresh the page if you don't have any. Wait, how would he hear me saying that? Anyways. Moving on. Toby gets Brinstar Super, no problem. So hopefully Nick will get good hives here. Alright, that was fine. And... alright, that was okay. So Toby can just go straight to Torian. And I'm going to officially switch audio to him. Toby's had a pretty solid run so far. He's been playing pretty well. So, I forgot to mention that the room that Nick was in before with the acid, the room next to it has Suit, but like I mentioned before, we don't grab Suit outright, because we get it later. Well, it will be given to us later, I should say. Nick has very good supers. He's looking very good for Torian. We want to have a lot of supers for that. He's getting hit by a lot of those guys, though, which is unfortunate. So, moving on, Toby has 8 supers, which is not ideal. Metroids die in 1 super or 5 missiles. And ideally, we want to kill as many Metroids with supers as possible. But he's not gotten any drops yet, which is unfortunate. Okay, I got a couple. Nice. Yeah, you just want to kind of pray that he get a lot of supers. In PB attempts, Torian can very easily kill a PB pace run if you get incredibly bad luck. Toby's saving a couple extra supers, potentially to use on Mother Brain, but I don't know if I agree with saving them this early in Torian. I feel like it would be okay to use them. Oh, he's saving them for this. That's right. That's right. Nick now entering Torian. That was really scary. Toby almost got eaten. Would have been bad. Toby got pretty bad super missile drops overall. Oh, except for this last room, when it almost kind of mattered the least, but it's fine. 10 missiles going into Mother Brain is actually absurd. So Mother Brain, you can kill her tank in 20 missiles or in 4 supers. So having 8 supers is pretty much the sweet spot. Having 10 doesn't... the extra 2 don't really do anything, as far as I know. And then you have to shoot 4 missiles, and then a super for each round of Mother Brain. Oh, I see what he's doing. You can get a double super there, which he did successfully. That was extremely clean. That was extremely clean from Toby. Toby paused. I don't know why that was. Interesting. Anyway, Nick. Almost to Mother Brain. Has an extra super drop. He's gonna use it. Can't blame him for that. And he gets another one, so he'll have 2 extra supers from Mother Brain. Toby finishes with 69 super missiles. That is an epic moment, if I do say so myself. Very epic indeed. Now Nick is going to be fighting Mother Brain. Makes it go a little bit faster with those 2 extra supers. Falling into lava is not something you want. Alright, Nick gets a good enough Mother Brain fight. If you run against Mother Brain as she's dying, you can get a speed booster there for some reason. So we use that to spark up this room. So now Toby entering the suitless section. This is definitely the most consistent area of the game because there's no real RNG except for the Charlie fight. Everything else is pretty consistent, so as long as you know how the space pirates behave, the strats surrounding them, then you should be good every single time. It's a question of whether or not Toby and Nick will heal. Because if you get hit by any space pirates without healing, you will die in 1 hit. Toby's skipping the map. Toby healing, I think that's the right call to do in a race setting. First strat of Suitless is freezing that pirate right there because it'll make this barrier come up pretty much immediately. That saves like 5 seconds probably, because otherwise you'd have to sit there and wait for the barrier to come up. Is Toby? Toby's not. Okay, so there's a newer strat with this tripwire right here called, I call it team kill. Some people call it tripwire skip, which is the worst name for a strat in history. But it involves 2 space pirates killing each other. It saves about a second over the normal tripwire skip. A tiny little optimization that Toby did not get was if you straight jump up that shaft that I just went up, you won't have to grab the ledge. You can just land right on the right on the ledge itself, but it doesn't really matter that much. Nick skipping the map and also healing. I say that's the correct decision. Sparker, I know exactly what you're referring to, and I did not even know that that strat was called that. That's funny. Nick going for team kill. Let's see how this goes. And gets it. Good stuff. I'm glad we got to see that. Toby heading into Chozodia, which is definitely the more dangerous, dangerous area of Suitless if he didn't heal. So coming up is a wall jump that if he doesn't get, will cost him quite a bit of time, but there's no reason why he wouldn't. Well, Nick. So Toby getting Sam strat. Normally, if you don't do that strat, you'll have to jump into a save room really quick and then leave to disable the alarm. But the way he manipulated those pirates, he's just able to not even have to do that. Saves a little time. A little bit. Toby's almost done with Suitless. Coming up towards the end here. Entering what I think is the most boring room of the game, personally, just because you're just holding left and moving very slow. And that is the entire room. I did not notice if Nick went for Sam strat. I think he did. I think he did, and then that pirate caught him again. Oh, Nick not breaking those blocks. Saves a couple or not lost a little bit of time, rather. So Toby coming up to Charlie. This is the only real RNG of this section. Ideally, he doesn't want to miss any cycles here and get it in 4 cycles. Nick, definitely behind, but not extremely behind. In the next section, there's a very good chance, not a very good chance, but there is a chance that the lead could shift. But we'll get to that when we get to that. So because Toby and Nick both healed, there's a strat we can do with Charlie where we damage boost, and that actually makes his little sigil come out faster. It's one advantage of healing in Suitless. And pretty good fight from Toby. Pretty good fight, I would say. Not getting the glitch. So that automatically deducts some good points. Still a good fight, though. Nick now entering Charlie. So now Toby has Space Jump, Gravity Suit, and Plasma Beam. We have every major upgrade except for Power Bombs, which we're gonna go grab now. So Toby doing the most punishing Shine Spark chain in the game. We call it Charlie E-Tank because it's an E-Tank next to Charlie. Very creative. So he's gonna have to spark here, store it in this door, fire a missile, then recharge, morph in here, then come back out. Oh, come back out, recharge it, and spark to the right, and gets it no problem. That loses a ton of time if you mess it up, so you don't want that to happen. Nick getting a good fight too. I would say these guys are maybe like a minute and a half away, like apart from each other right now. Nick not getting the glitch either. SMH. So right now we're heading towards Power Bombs. It is the only Power Bomb tank that we can get first. There's no other Power Bomb tank we can grab before it. That is kind of the holy grail of Zero Mission 100%. So, until we can get early power bombs, we're stuck grabbing this one. Nick now going to go for Charlie E-Tank Spark. Looks like it should be good. Yep, gets it. Alright. That was what I was talking about when I said that the lead could have shifted in this segment, because if one of them failed it, it very easily could have completely turned the tides of this race. There's a couple other difficult tricks in the run left, but once they're over, I can't really see the lead changing too much after that, so we'll have to wait and see. Metroid does not afraid of anything. That is the truest statement. Meanwhile, Toby's still making his way towards power bombs. It's a pretty long detour to get there. So there will be another route variation here, potentially, called Door Clip, which saves us an extra power bomb. So essentially, the aim of this route is to clip through a power bomb door and go to... Oh, Nick is struggling a little bit. Toby is going for it. So he's going to clip through this door using a very specific setup. Looks like that should work. And in turn, that saves him a power bomb because he didn't have to use a power bomb to open that door from the outside. And in doing so, we're going to take a slightly different route through Cho's audio cleanup compared to if we didn't do door clip. We're going to head to the bottom of the ship to grab a couple items. I'm assuming Nick will go for that too. Basically, the reason we go for this route is for consistency more than anything, because otherwise we would have to do, we would most likely have to do a pretty stupid series of Shine Sparks in Criteria to grab another power bomb tank, which if we have the extra power bomb, then we can avoid it, but skipping, not doing door clip, will leave us not enough power bombs. I don't know if Nick was trying to go for the proper setup there. Okay, he either messed it up or just wasn't going for it. So Nick is probably going to do a different route now, which is going to make my life more difficult as a commentator as a result. So we will now have a difficult time keeping track of the lead once again, but I think just for a rule of thumb, it's safe to say that Toby is in the lead. Oh, but Nick's still using the power. Oh, no, never mind. Never mind. Ignore me. Got confused. Oh, Toby is cleaning up the bottom of the ship. Our power bomb count is very tight in cleanup for pretty much all of cleanup. So we have to be very specific with how we plan our power bomb usage. Nick having some trouble with just overall movement, it seems, which costs a lot of time. I think that movement saves the most time out of anything. If you have good movement, then you can get good runs. Toby and Nick actually in the same room, but for different reasons. So it looks like they're tied, but they're not. Toby going for glass tube, and Nick about to follow. So essentially, glass tube involves getting the speed booster on this glass tube and blowing it up at the same time. And if you miss it once, you cannot retry it. It saves us from having to grab this E-Tank a different way. A slower and stupider way. It looks like they both got it. Nick going for the space boost strat, which is pretty risky and kind of easy to mess up, but he gets it, and it's faster to do that, so good stuff to Nick. So yeah, if you're just tuning in, Nick and Toby are not as close as they seem. Just keep that in mind. Nick getting hit by a ton of these guys here. He wants an extra power bomb drop from them, but he's not going to get it, unfortunately. Toby... Uh-oh, I hope Toby didn't freeze again. Well, until he comes back, let's switch back over to Nick's audio. Apologies for that. Nick is not ahead. It looks like he's ahead, but they're taking different routes, and Toby is definitely still in the lead. So Nick is going to have to do this insane series of Shine Sparks, which I'm kind of happy that he's doing, just so you guys can see it. It's not so great for him, because I'm sure he didn't want to do it, but it's cool for us as viewers. So if he had an extra power bomb, he would be able to break these two blocks on the ground. Oh, not going for the recharge. That's very ballsy. Oh, okay, recharging there. So yeah, if he had an extra power bomb, he could have broken those blocks on the ground and then just started his Shine Spark from that room, but instead he had to start it from the previous room and have it go on for way longer, but he gets it no problem. I think that was a good angle. Okay. If you're too far to the left for that ball spark, you will miss that wall. But he got it no problem. There's this cool space boost coming up here. See if Nick gets it. He does, mostly. So a space boost is space jumping in Speed Booster, and it has a couple applications. We'll see another one coming up in Ruined Torian, which I did not know this area existed until I started speedrunning this game. I had played it casually 1,000 times and never knew you could come back here. It's a pretty cool area. Yeah, our shots would be very cool in ZM. I also wish that they were in this game. That would have been cool. Our shots are a Metroid Fusion tech, by the way. Well, not Nick going for the space boost. Let me focus. But our shots were, in case anyone is curious what that is, in Fusion, if you hold a charge beam and then press R, it will shoot your beam, which is useful for when you're in Space Jump because it'll shoot your beam while you're in Space Jump. It has some cool applications in Fusion, but we're playing Zero Mission. We're not talking about Fusion. They removed it in this game for whatever reason. It might have been an oversight in Fusion that it existed. I don't know. I digress. Nick gonna head towards Kraid now because he's actually right above where you start the game, actually. Yes, fusion does suck. You should not have brought that up, Pilsmore. Shaking my SMH. So Nick is gonna go clean up Kraid now. There's 3 items that we didn't get our first trip through. One of them we just couldn't get, and then the other 2 are just faster to get now. Yeah, Toby's been having some internet issues this race. Polsmore, Federation Force is a game that we don't talk about. So now Nick is going to head towards Norfair to clean up the rest of Norfair. Norfair cleanup is pretty cool, in my opinion. We do some cool stuff there. Destructor, did he not know that Federation Force was an actual game? I'm jealous of you. I wish I didn't know that a game existed. Okay, just making sure. That would have been nice, though. I wish I could go without the knowledge of Federation Force exists. So Nick going for the advanced strat here. So he's going to space boost on the way to this room. And you have to sort of stay towards the top of the room. That's a lot more difficult than it looks because there's actually a speed block in front of that door, and if you run onto it, you lose your speed booster. So the easier strat is to just buffer a Shine Spark through the door transition, and then just Shine Spark across. The reason that space boosting is faster is because you avoid the startup and bonking animations of the Shine Spark. Oh, Nick not getting the space boost all the way through this room. That's unfortunate. So now he's going to space boost all the way back to the other side of this room. Well, Toby, last we knew, was in the lead. But his stream is frozen, so... So now Nick is going to go grab the missile tank that he should have grabbed in New Fair, but he did not. Completely nullifying the point of New Fair. Pretty unfortunate stuff there. So there's just one item left in Norfair. But in order to get to it, we're going to do a cool ball spark. Oh, Toby's back. And Toby is... I don't even know whose audio to put first. Chat, whose audio should I have on? Oh, Toby missing that space boost. Okay, it looks like I'll switch back to Toby for audio. I actually got kicked out of the SRL channel, so I'll rejoin that real quick. Okay, back in it. So Toby now going for cool Shine Spark trick here. So the reason he unmorphs then morphs again is because your vertical speed is actually slower when you're in Morph Ball, so you have to unmorph in order to reach that ledge, otherwise you'll miss it. They were using different routes throughout most of the run, Plasma. So now both these guys are going to be heading towards a missile tank that is incredibly out of the way, but we don't really have a choice but to get it now. The reason we don't get it before is because we need power bombs to get it, so you can kind of see the problem there. So there's not much happening here. How are you guys doing, chat? Hope you're all doing okay. Yeah, they really did kind of deviate, like, at every single possible time, so it's pretty cool that we get to see multiple different routes in the same race. Yeah, as much as I hate to give Toby the audio just because his feed is a little bad looking, he is in the lead, so it kind of just makes sense. So Nick grabbing that power bomb tank that we were going out of our way for. Yeah, I apologize for Toby's quality, but would you guys prefer that Nick has the audio so you don't have to look at Toby? I'll let chat decide. Nick is farther apart from Toby than it looks because Nick has to go clean up the bottom of the ship while Toby already did. Oh, Nick beating the missile or tying with it, I couldn't tell. Pretty good stuff. So, while Toby is heading up to go fight Mecha Ridley, Nick has to go down to grab the 2 items he didn't get before. How many times have I speedrun this game? Yeah, many. I have 24 100% runs and like 19 90% runs. That's not as many as some of the other people, though, in the community. I've only been playing for about a year. Metroid Fusion? I don't think so. Oh, Toby? So, alright. For this last E-Tank, the fast strat is to do what Toby is doing and space jump in between these tripwires and gets it. It's very hard to do. If you miss it, it loses a lot of time. The easier strat is to Shine Spark through there, but that loses about 6 seconds. So that was pretty good from Toby. No, I think Toby is fine, pulls more. I did run Fusion, yeah. I ran Fusion for also a year. So Toby fighting Mecha Ridley. Let's see what kind of... Oh! Let's see what kind of pattern he gets. Mecha Ridley's pretty RNG dependent. You want to get a good pattern to kill him as fast as possible. This seems to be alright. One more should do it, yeah. Okay, that was pretty solid from Toby. That was pretty solid. Chozo God, if you ask most people in this chat, or most people in this chat, they would probably say Zero Mission, and I would have to agree with them. As much as the meme suggests otherwise, Fusion is not a bad speed game. So now Toby is going for the escape. There's one last big trick coming up here that he wants to get as first try. Nick also going for the space jump here. That's interesting. Wow, that was really scary. He like came really close. Sparker, well, I do agree with that. I think ZFG is just freakishly good at OOT. Like, I agree that he also practices a lot, but ZFG is just a god, I think. So Toby going for the escape spark here. You want to do a shine break on that block, and then ball spark through this room, and gets it no problem. Oh, Nick getting a good pattern here, but getting hit by the flames doesn't really make much use of it. Oh, and Nick with his signature double supers. Wow, that was really fast. And Toby finishes with a RTA of 1:12.58. GG to him. His speed, or his SRL time is... What did he get on SRL? Or yeah, his SRL... Oh, crap. I don't see his SRL time. But regardless, Toby is the winner. I'm not getting his SRL time though, so we're gonna have to ask them to post that. I was kicked out of the SRL room for some reason midway through the run, so I apologize for that. Oh yeah, he actually probably was kicked from... Yeah, he's not even in the room. Yeah. He's not even in the SRL room still, because he got disconnected. Meanwhile, let's see how Nick fares. Yeah, Toby did not say he was done in the SRL room. That was a pretty good run from Toby, I would say. Overall, that was very solid. And here he is. What's up, dude? How do you feel about that run?
Quite well, actually. There weren't too many huge bummers. Just overall decent movement. Also, did my internet reconnect?
Yeah, a couple times, unfortunately. Okay. But from what we did see, you did play pretty well. It's a pretty solid run.
Who won, actually?
You won.
I won? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I disconnected from IRC, so I have no idea.
I actually got disconnected too, just now. That's strange. I wanted to post the SRL times, but it's being kind of weird.
Yeah. What's Nick's route, actually? Does he do early Brinstar?
No, he did late Brinstar. He did New Fair, but he didn't grab the missile tank next to high jump, so it kind of didn't really matter that he did New Fair.
Oh, okay.
And then...
So, wait, did he do the spark up? The shine break?
I think what happened was he fought Kirigiro and then he messed up something with the shine break. Yeah, I think that's what happened.
Oh.
Something weird happened with that. And then he missed door clip and had to do the other route.
Oh, okay. Dang. Yeah, I'm always a bit nervous when it comes to door clip because there's a setup for it, but it's so precise.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh man, if I miss this, it's going to be.
Yeah, it's scary to miss, for sure.
Absolutely. I was really happy that I got that.
Yeah, that was definitely a solid run.
52:05.
Nice, good stuff. Let's see if Nick will join us.
Yeah, it's cool. Looking at my splits, there are lots of places where I can save time still.
Yeah, definitely.
That's really cool to know. So even compared to my sum of best, I didn't do too bad. There's apparently lots of time I can make up in Norfair. No, in Brinstow, sorry. Like on the way to Ridley. And then Ridley wasn't too great either. I bunked the spark there, you know, up to the second puzzle.
Oh yeah, that's right, that's right.
And then I bunked another spark in crate cleanup. You know, that missile tank that's like underwater.
Yeah.
Where you have to ball spark through those
Yeah,
blocks.
yeah.
And then I like immediately ball sparked again into
Aw.
that
sucks.
around. I didn't lose any time though. No, wait, I lost 11 seconds there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that sounds like that would lose time.
Yeah. I was like, okay, what do I do now? Do I go back and recharge the spark and then spark out? Or do I just go the long way around? And I'm like, man, I have no idea, I'll just go around.
Yeah. That's rough.
That's one of the good things when you have lots of experience. Because then you've made most of the mistakes at least once. And then you know backups.
You know how to deal with them, yeah.
Yes, but that was actually the first time I bunked that spark, so I was like, "Oh man,
that's that's a pretty unusual mistake to make for sure."
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that before. So it looks like I think that's the end of round 5. So now we just have round 6 to go, which I don't have any preview on that, so I guess we won't know who's up next. But
But I think the pairings will be up pretty soon because this is the last day of this round, I think.
Yeah, I believe so.
Ooh.
It's not totally updated though, because I know Dudobai and Elias Thompson did their race. I think D-Drake did his race too. You obviously just did your race. I don't know if did Polesmore race Boxmeister yet? I don't know.
Yeah, I think he did.
Regardless, it's almost over this round. And then there's one more round, and then top 8 is after that.
Ooh. Really curious how that's going to turn out.
Yeah, that'll be cool. I'm excited for that.
So, do you have the chart open right now? Who's in the top 8?
So let's see. Right now, the top 8 is John, Scotty, you, Monkey, Destructor, Whale, Eagle, and Peach Drink.
Okay.
So
But that could change.
Still could change. Yep.
Yeah. Nice.
John and Scotty are definitely shoo-ins, but as for everyone else,
yeah, pretty sure. Hang on, wait. Polesmore is top 8, is he?
He's not. He's
not.
He's 13 right now. He's
Whoa,
2-2.
What? How?
Unexpected.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, the standings are inaccurate. That is true because I don't think, like I said before, some of these races have not been put in yet. But I would imagine it's roughly something like that at the moment.
Okay. This tournament turned out pretty well, actually. I'm enjoying it more and more.
Yeah, definitely. It's been good so far.
Like, I really don't want to go into the Swiss round, you know, because then it's like so tense. Like one loss and you're out. I like this group stage. I like it a lot more because you get to do a lot more races.
Definitely. I think this is how it should be from now on in tournaments.
Way better, I think. Way less tension, you know, it's way more beginner friendly.
Yeah, that too, all the beginners.
Lots of races.
Yeah.
Regardless of how you perform.
Definitely.
Okay, so I think we're done for today.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay, so yeah, just quick Shoutouts to the tech crew in the background. And then for hopping in at the last moment.
Yeah,
Thanks a
problem.
lot. And yeah, hope you all had a nice race. I surely had. GG to Nick. And yeah, see you next race.
GG. Thanks for watching, everyone.